Thank you. Welcome yet again to this episode of Business Chronicles here on Studio 84. Studio 84 is a podcast studio here in Bugolobi, Kampala, Uganda, along Lithuli Avenue. And it's basically a space that is set up to empower people and businesses and organizations to build, grow their own content, tell stories, and actually own their stories. Basically out to promote content creation. And on Business Chronicles today, I am privileged to host Zura, but I haven't known her for a long time. So Zura, please introduce yourself, tell us what you do.
All right. My name is Nakamya Zuula. I'm the creative director of Navarro Events. At Navarro Events, we do events planning, decoration, and I usually call it event styling because for us, we are artists. So we do events artistry. We turn your event into a piece of art, not a store.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the piece of art and not a store?
Okay, a piece of art means I put a mind to it. I usually believe every good work begins with a sketch. That's why I usually tell my clients, at least give me 30 minutes or 1 hour to sketch up something for you.
Yeah.
So I usually tell people that anything planned for any professional, it really looks planned. So anything unplanned really looks disorganized in most cases. So I don't believe so much in coincidences in artistry, especially in planning.
Yeah.
So that's why I usually say it's styling, not a matter of going to China, buying chandeliers, buying walkway stands, and just putting in a tent.
Yeah.
So there should be a sketch. There should be you should know. Actually, it's very important for you to know the program. It
Yeah.
helps you a lot in planning as an event stylist. A lot of things your client may, let me say, what do they call it? It's called what? Is program agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, the agenda gives you sometimes a concept.
Yes.
It gives you a concept depending on what kind of artist you are, because
Yeah.
those are the things I depend on when I'm trying to create a concept for someone. The agenda, the style, because I believe every client has a style.
Yeah.
They just need an artist to sit into the style.
Yeah.
And I believe every style is nice. It just needs to be brought out. Like, so I believe an event is especially weddings. That is a day the bride and the groom try to showcase their love, their style. That's why they usually use the colors they prefer,
Yes. Yes.
the items they prefer,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I call it events artistry.
So, Zura, do you have like a specialty in the artistry? Because I have events people or decorators who specialize in doing conferences, corporate events, others prefer to do weddings and so on. Do you have a preference? Do you have a specialty? Like I will tell you, I'm into media production, photography, videography, live streaming for businesses and corporates. Please don't send your weddings to me.
Yeah, because after my after my career as a nurse, I had to join.
Slow down. After your career as a what?
As a nurse, yeah.
No, no, I'm sorry. Now I'm interested in other things. Zura,
Not about artistry anymore.
no. First tell me. Career as a what?
As a nurse.
You're an amazing events person.
Yeah.
Events artistry person.
And I was a very amazing nurse.
What's this nurse story? Is it one of those things where from the time I was a child I always wanted to be a nurse?
Actually,
How did you end up in nursing?
actually, I remember those are some of the professions I used to admire as a person, and coincidentally, also my mom, may her soul rest in peace, she used to love it a lot. I loved nursing to the extent that whenever I went to hospitals, I really would love to be like those people. I would really love. I would. At one point, I could even envy them. I was like, oh, wow, this is where I should be. So that's why when I joined nursing at Chibuli Muslim Hospital, uh, I was that devoted student. I remember. I don't remember me dodging a class or even dodging duty as a student. That's how far I loved it a lot, and I wanted to make my mother so proud. And coincidentally, I was so good at it because even I was among the best. I got was it called a first something? I got 2 points. By then, when you get one and two was a distinction.
Yes.
So I got a distinction. So I never applied for the job. So after my exams, I remember finding a PNO. PNO is someone who leads nurses at the hospital. She was like, "Oh, young girl, can you go home and rest for 3 weeks and then come back?" I was like, "Okay." So when I went to hospital, I started working. Then my results came back. I was among the best, and uh, um, I remember the hospital director said, "Whoever has got a distinction should come to the hospital and start working." I was already in.
In his speech at the graduation.
No, he told the PNO at
Okay.
his office, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, that whoever, and I was the best in clinical practice.
Wow.
Gifted hands. So
Real gifted hands, I tell you. Even in your events artistry, it's real gifted hands.
yeah. So that's how I joined. So I worked for some time. Then I went to Aga Khan University. That's where things I think changed from. Because I remember I love that university a lot. I usually tell my friends, I wish you could just enter that environment. I love the mindset of people there. I remembered I was that timid girl.
What were you studying at Aga Khan University?
Again, nursing. I was trying to upgrade.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to school.
Yeah.
In your A level or high school.
I
What?
didn't go for A level.
Aha. You see, the story gets more interesting.
Yeah, I didn't go for A level.
So how did you actually end up in nursing? You finished
Okay.
O level, said
After O level, I was supposed to go to South Africa for nursing.
Yes.
But by then, I could go for a degree from here.
Yeah.
From here to South Africa.
Zura,
I went.
I am sorry I have to interrupt.
Yeah.
The parents, the typical parents that raised us, school system was simple and clear.
Yeah.
Finish O level, go to A level, find a university, get a degree. How do your parents or you decide that I'm not going to do A level, I want to go straight into nursing training?
Now, initially I had a plan to at least study from abroad.
Yes.
And I thought it was better if early
Yes.
enough. And mom also thought so. So I was planning we were planning. So that's when she fell sick and all that. She was sickly and all that. So she was like, she called a friend of hers to help me join the nursing school. So she was like, can you go be doing something nursing as we wait if all goes well? So
the plans to go abroad immediately after don't work out, mom is unwell and all that. You're like, you know what? Let me do this nursing
this
thing.
is what
After all, I like
yeah,
it.
after all, I like
Wow.
it. And I was so determined that I knew either way, wherever I need to go, I need good grades. You can't begin with a bad beginning, really.
Yes.
So that's why I used to study hard. I don't know how I used to do it. I would wake up at 1 a.m. until 6 a.m. reading. I remember I could remember every word, like everything on each page of my book. Like that's how I knew my book. So when it comes when it came to practicals, these things were just rhyming. So it wasn't a coincidence that I would perform so well.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember actually that was not my expectation because I remember in the exams there is a course unit. There is our tutor used to dodge. That's what they brought most. But since because we had to gamble that area a lot, I think that's why I even got a 2. But it was obvious for me. It was really obvious because it was a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and these things. It's not cram work. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
Yeah, when you know, you know. So you can, even if they twist a question, that side of medicine, if you know, you know.
So you go to Aga Khan,
Yeah, I go
you
to Aga
study
Khan.
nursing.
I go to Aga Khan. I find those wonderful women, very successful, very educated, very humble. That thing, I usually say it wherever I go. Very successful, very like, but very humble. And I remember they used to tell us when we enter, because we were used to the other policy, when senior enters, you stand up. And here they said, "Excuse me, girls, here respect is earned. No one orders respect here. So you'll not stand when anyone enters. Like, we are all adults. Like, you're supposed to address us by our names." I was like, oh,
You're like, where have I been all
really?
my life? This is my kind of
Yeah.
place.
And they were like, you don't need to put on a cape for you to prove that you're a nurse. You need to know what you know. Yeah. So there is that confidence they kept on building in us. By the time I left Aga Khan, I was a very different person. By the time I left Aga Khan, I was aiming for something higher. I was like, really, should I go back to my former workplace? Really? So I started seeing things weren't matching up. There is that person I usually wanted to be. I'm a perfectionist. I want people who, okay, me usually people who know a lot about their stuff amaze me. So I love people who are deep. Like, I want that real kind of, okay, the kind of nursing I really wanted. I don't think it's yet here.
Yeah.
So, and from there, I worked for a while. Boom. Then COVID. No, COVID came before we had graduated. So when COVID, but before, something I didn't tell you, I used to own some businesses. I grew up a businesswoman. Yeah, even at school, I used to sell clothes and
Yes.
earn some money. I used to have some
Wow.
good money at school. So for me, interview
Their
money,
business. Eh? Yes,
I need to have some money somewhere. So I used to cater for even my mom. I remember she used to tell me, "That's why are you getting used to that habit of taking care of yourself? It's not good when you get married. It's not good to be so
I
independent."
know.
Yeah, but I used to pay my small bills. When we were growing up, it was foundation, makeup,
Yes, yes,
lipstick.
yes.
Yeah, I could at least afford. So, so during COVID, remember it was really some hard work.
Yeah.
I was working, studying, and my car business needed me. So sometimes when I'm off the other side, I used to work night shifts, then come to my car business, sleep there, go back for a night shift. Sometimes when I have classes, I go. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't even remember
You
how I
don't
used
even
to
know
do
how you do it.
it. Sometimes
Don't
I'm like,
remember how you did it.
really? Did I take? I don't know. I don't know. Did I really do that myself? But I thank God I was able to. So,
Juggle all that.
yeah. So after COVID, within COVID, I was like, oh, the business wasn't so good because for us, we used to earn some good money from clothes, actually.
Yeah.
We used to earn some really good money. So I was trying to measure and see, it wasn't working. Then I had to look for a plan B because usually I didn't look at my profession as something that could make you rich, really.
Yeah.
It couldn't. It couldn't. And I'm that woman who wouldn't settle for less. I have a lot of passion, like a passion for children. I have a lot of, let me say, purpose. Sometimes you may have one, two, three, or four things you would love to do in life. That maybe nursing was part of it.
Yeah.
But as you grow up, like there is that sieve of purpose that starts sieving you out of something.
Some spaces, yes.
So I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
So time came. Then I thought of Deco. I just woke up one morning. I had 360,000 on my account. I woke up one morning, entered a flower shop. I remember there is a small girl. She's called Dora. I told her, you know what, I want to start Deco because before I used to organize my parties for my friends, my boyfriend, So I was like, I want to start this Deco thing. Would you mind to teach me if I get my money and I come buy flowers here? would you teach me a few things? She was like, okay. I told her, tomorrow I'm coming. Went to the bank, withdrew the money, gave it to her. Give me flowers. Show me how they do this. Show me how they do that. Then I took them to the shop. Then I said, what next? I said, I used to love makeup artistry. I'm a makeup artist.
What were you selling in your shop?
Clothes.
Okay.
But they weren't doing so good.
Uh-huh. So now in the clothes shop, you've added this aspect of decoration.
I put flowers. I put a few baskets. And then I was like, what next? I know how to make up. I don't know how. Before, I don't know how I had learned how to make up, but I knew how to make up. I was like, why don't I? Remember, by then I was still working.
Yes.
Yeah. I was busy. Busy, like trying to find myself. I think it was a moment, like it was some hunger in me that
Yeah.
really needed me to find myself, like urgently, because at the speed at which I used to make decisions was really weird. So I woke up one morning. I went to, there is a small school. It's called, at Kampala Road, it's called Esther School of Beauty.
Yes.
I went there. I did makeup and event and hairstyling for 3 months. Was it 3 months? Yeah, 3 months. I did it, but not in the aspect that I
You want to
wanted
be a professional at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew, I was like, every passion I have, I know I want to be a boss.
Yeah.
Every passion I have, I should have a skill in it.
Yeah.
And I remember I've ever worked on a bride before even going for training, and the bride looked so good. I was like, abulane.
So Zuula,
So yeah,
you're a qualified nurse at this point.
yeah.
You
Makeup
have a
artist.
shop with clothes.
Uh-huh.
You can do deco. You're determined.
Yeah, but I don't have a skill yet.
You have learned
How to do
how
makeup.
to do makeup.
Uh-huh.
How do you
Yes,
now
yes.
decide, me, this event artistry is my thing?
Then I thank God. My current husband was by then a boyfriend, so he used to drive me. He would see that hunger in me, so he would tell me, you know what? Can you go online, start studying about events management? Then I didn't even know what it means. I was like, it's, but it looked it sounded a bit difficult. I was like, ever since I've started, hustling, this one looks different. It looks a bit different and difficult. I went online, started studying. I could just bump into a cheap page and start studying. And then I found myself loving floristry a lot. So there is a tutor, a Chinese tutor. Is called Ling's Moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started following Link's Moment, on the online lectures he used to give and all that. I was like, this is so interesting. It was really okay. At one point, I felt like this is really satisfying for me. So at that point, I was like, now I'm doing events. It didn't took me a lot. So usually, naturally, when I don't want to draw back to petition, what I usually do, I make a drastic decision. I registered the company, Navarro Events.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, after you've registered the company, you've put money in it, you've put time, there's no turning back.
Yeah, that's what I usually do to myself whenever I'm scared of
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I
Make a drastic decision, jump and learn to fly along the way.
Yeah, because I fear getting embarrassed. So in that fear, I'll be like, let me just push forward.
Yeah.
So Navarro Events, boom. So guess what? I started getting. I woke up one morning, got my phone, sent to my inbox. Like every
Your people, every group.
I would send everyone a text. You know what? We do this. Please support us. Everyone was like, Zora, what? So some of them actually supported me. I remember my first event, was it in October? I think it was in October. It was a baby shower.
What
Then
year
a
is that?
birthday. That is 22, 21. I think 22.
Mm.
A birthday. Then after, it was a baby shower.
Yeah.
It was nicely done, actually. I'll show you the photos. Then I don't know how, but I remember
I hope we can
who
get some
helped.
photos from that and show
Yeah.
at this point.
Who,
Yes.
and something I've forgotten to tell you, there is someone who there is a gentleman who did my deco at my birthday. So that is a bit somehow related to my sister's husband. So that gentleman, I called him before all this, before even registering. I called him and told him, I want to start getting clients. You quote, we go and work.
Yes.
Yeah, so my first event, that was the team that came through. I just looked at what they would want. I made sure I researched what is. I didn't even know what a napkin was, a charger plate was, and all that. But since I'm a businesswoman, there is this I had in mind. I don't want to hire everything. So sometimes a client could give me all that money. I go buy the things. I don't make profits, but I
But
just
you
keep some
stock
money.
up. Yes.
Just keep that money, some money for the workers. So a time came when this gentleman would like me to do what he wanted. And I think in a business perspective, that's not me. Yeah, that's not me. So at one point, I had to pull myself out of his hands. Yeah. I think we did something like two events together. And you know how, okay, for him, he was shocked to see me getting events. I'm just a beginner. I don't even know anything. So he would love to show my clients that this is a beginner. Like
That he's
I'm
the one doing all the work.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the one in charge. She's a beginner. She knows nothing. Why are you giving her the money? So I was like, you're not good for business.
He didn't know you had the vision.
Exactly. So I put him aside. I kept on researching about Deco. I went, there is a building called Equatorius. I went there, made friends, good friends. I remember there was a lady of premium function. She's called Fatuma. She's very good. So when I went to her, I told her I need someone to work with. I need help. She gave me someone. And that person was honest enough to work with me. He worked for me for a long time. Up to now, he's part of my team.
Wow.
He's a very good person, and I appreciate very good people. He's someone nowadays, since now we are no longer struggling, is when he says his bill, I usually don't. I tell him, okay.
I got so much. You just let them do.
And sometimes he's the first to be paid. I just pay him before even he does the work because I'm trying to return the favor.
Exactly.
I remember when we used to go on sites and I could not make a coin out of the site, and he could say, it's okay. He calls me Jaja Mchala. It's okay, Jaja Mchala. It's not so bad.
Zura,
Yeah.
was there a point in your deco business? Was there a turning point, an event that you did that turned this whole thing around?
I think it was my third event. I did planning and deco. Remember,
How significant was it?
it was really
Why was it?
significant.
Why is it the special event?
It was my first big event, and I was truly a beginner. Remember, I began in October. This was in February.
Yeah.
In February, I get someone from abroad. I had to plan for. So I had to call a friend in Kenya and ask him, hello, how much do you think events planners charge? Because I didn't even know. He said 15% of the budget. I told them, what is your budget? They said 80 million.
They said 15%.
I told them I have 15% of this. Then they
That's
told
a
me
cool 12 million.
Then also, it was my company doing decor. We charged them 25 million. Wow. So that was some good money. It was a big start. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Nursing would never make this money in a week or in a couple of weeks.
The reason why I wouldn't leave nursing for money, but I usually tell people in my circles, I usually warn them about the good workers. I used to be that good worker. I remember my boss used to like me a lot, to the extent that when I was leaving, I could not tell him face to face. I just went to the human resource, gave him the resignation letter, because I couldn't face my boss,
Yes.
more so his wife. So I couldn't face both of them, telling them, I'm letting go of this. So I just took the letter to the human resource manager, because I used to work, but I used to work so hard, really so hard, I wouldn't mind business. And I remember I didn't even steal a coin from my boss's pocket, because I remember one thing they used to tell us at church: if you're honest at the other man's business, even God will be honest with yours. So I used to keep it in mind. I was like, if I'm
Yeah.
honest at your workplace, I used to work. So time came when I was busy this side, and these other bosses would feel bad that could not match up with their expectations. I used to be that so devoted, hardworking, blah blah, and sometimes I think one thing that brought a burnout, it wasn't about the money, really. But I remember they used to put me to a ward that needed 3 nurses. They just put Azura can manage. I remember myself being overworked at VIPs, working on VIPs, and within that night you have to transport the client to the airport. Like, it used to be so hectic for me.
Yeah.
Even when my boss could fall sick, I would be there 24 hours, seated taking care of them. I
Big
remember when they
lesson
had an
from
accident as a family, I had to be there, like working tirelessly. And I think with time, it brought a burnout.
a burnout.
Yes, with time, I felt like I hated my profession. I was so tired. In that, even when I was home seated, maybe taking a cup of tea, I think about tomorrow I'm going on duty. I would even lose the appetite, maybe get palpitations, be like, I was like, what kind of life is this? I think I was like, at one point, I was like, I think I need to leave, because I didn't have a life at all, really.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have a life at all. I was like, I used to admire people. People are free, they are moving around and all. For you, you're there, just taking a little rest. For you, after maybe one day or two, you rush back to that place where you work tirelessly, and how private patients, when you Ghanaians, we make some money. We become a bit complicated, most of us.
Zura, that for me is a big lesson, and it should be for you.
Yeah.
Don't overwork your good stuff, otherwise you may end up giving them ideas to leave you.
Yes.
Zura, we are literally out of time, but before you go, I really like your story. I pick a lot of things. But after you answer this question, what really inspires you? What drives you?
To decor.
I mean, what pushes you to keep going? What pushes you to go out and get that job, spend sleepless nights at a venue? I know how decorators be in this city.
First of all, I like this. I like what I do a lot. I don't know why and how. I like it a lot. And it helps me drive my purpose. Because really, I love naturally, even when I look at street children, I don't know how I get tears in my eyes. So it comes naturally that that's my soft bit of me. That's that soft bit of me. So I thought about myself, and I was like, if I'm not in a position to help any other person, and deep inside me, I know I should be the one helping. I don't know why. It's always in my mind that I should be the one helping. That's why whenever I reach any space, I be like, how can I help? So in my mind, I don't know why, but I think I should be helping. And nursing, to some bit, wasn't serving that purpose of mine. I think it's the major purpose of my life. That if I wake up one morning and they tell me, because there is a project at church, it's called Zion Project. If I wake up one morning and they tell me, oh, these babies need breakfast. Ooh, I would feel so glad to give a hand.
Yeah.
So I want to be that helping hand. Yes, nursing was a helping hand. It gives we were giving life, but I believe on this other side, I can also give a life to someone.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
I know a thing or two about event management as well. We've worked very many events in our line of work, and our favorite clients, I can confidently say, are usually the ones where we do more than we're hired to do. Where you get there, you see some things around not going right, and you're keen to help and ask, "Can I help with this? Can I help with this?" And many times I can tell you they don't even know what they are doing, or they don't see things going wrong, because you're more experienced in events, they are not. So I totally feel you when you say you want to be that helping hand, and that's just one of the things that clients like to see, and it could be the determinant why they call you for the next job.
Yeah, you're right.
Zura, I learn a lot from your story. As in, your path was not cut out from the beginning. Started one thing, did another, did another, did another. I don't know whether you're now fully settled in events artistry, or tomorrow you may come back here as a makeup artist. I don't know whether you've really settled,
No,
but
I feel like how I said, I feel like at least to some bit my purpose is fulfilled.
it's now set.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's now I can, at this point, of course, I'm getting some good money. I can take care of someone. I can give a life to someone. So I think that is really satisfying. And another thing, at one point I was like, I need to have a family that I can take care of. I don't want to be at home, then I need to rush and satisfy my boss
Yes.
before I even satisfy my
Your own
family.
people.
Me, I'm a family person naturally.
Yes.
So I didn't see that space giving me all this.
That's true.
Yeah.
Zura, it was very nice having you here on Business Chronicles at Studio 84.
Thank you, Solomon.
Look forward to another conversation, maybe another big milestone event that you've done. We'll come back here and talk about it.
Yeah.
Listeners and viewers, that was Zura from from Navarro Events. Yes, that's Zura from Navarro Events. It was great conversations. We look forward to our next guest here at Business Chronicles. Thank you, and see you sometime.